Hey everybody, in this video we're going to restore this antique quarter-sawn oak parlor table. Most furniture made prior to 1970 was a lot better quality than today's standards. Have a family heirloom or doing a furniture flip? Let us help you with that. Give your furniture some love. As you can see, this old oak parlor table's seen better days. The veneer is missing in parts on the top and stained and loose all over. So I'll have to make a whole new top for that out of solid quarter-sawn oak. The bottom has got some cracks here and there, and the feet will need to be restored and polished up. So we'll get this piece looking like new again. All right, the first thing we need to do is take this thing all apart. We'll have to take the screws out of the back of the legs, get those off. We got some screws down here holding this base to the top. As you can see, they're not really secure. We also have screws holding the apron in. We'll have to take that loose to get the top off. Looks like we have a piece of wood missing here in the corner of this bottom shelf. We'll have to splice a piece in there to give something to hold on to. This corner over here looks like someone may have already spliced a piece in at some point. We'll have to make sure that's secure. Here is the quarter-sawn white oak that I have chosen for the top. I have the boards all cut to length. Some people refer to this as tiger oak because of the stripes, but its true name is quarter-sawn white oak. Okay, let's get to taking this thing apart. No broken screws. Here's a previous repair attempt. Looks like they used epoxy glue to glue the legs into the top board. They're a little bit loose still, but I'm going to have to knock that apart and get all that old glue cleaned off of there and get the joints back to where they need to be. Here are the ball and claw feet that I took off of it. These things are massive, and they feel like they weigh about 2 pounds apiece. They're probably cast iron with the glass ball inserted on there. I'll be cleaning those up and putting a new finish on those before I put them back on. All right, all the edges are all straightened up with the joiner. They are ready to glue together. Before I remove the legs from these top boards, I'm going to make a registration mark with a screwdriver. That way I can line them back up properly when I'm gluing them back together. Okay, here's a little denatured alcohol. Can just squirt that around the joint. Give it some wiggle. Hopefully that will help break that joint loose. Let's give it a try. There we have it. Now we just need to do the other side and start working on those joints. As you can see, I got a lot of glue built up on the bottom of those tenons, so I'll get a file and I'll get that all cleaned off nice and slick. Okay, I got the boards all planed down to the thickness they need to be. And I have them all laid out in the way I want them to look. And test dry fit, everything looks good. So next step is to put some glue on these joints and get it all clamped up. Nice even squeeze out here. I have to line the board just a little bit with that mallet. Equal clamping pressure across all four. Pretty good. Right there. Alright, we'll let that glue dry up and scrape all the glue off and get it all cut to square and sanded. And here we have the underside of the bottom shelf. As you can see, we got some wood broke out here. This is the old-fashioned type pocket screw. A screw runs down through this way. This one here looks like it's been repaired just previously. Looks like that repair is holding. We got a little bit broke out on this one as well, and this one here just has a crack in it. So what we're gonna have to do is splice in some new wood here where this is missing and get that all strong again and stabilize what we can. As you can see, all four legs of this table have delaminated, which is a common problem on table legs that are laid up and laminated like this. The old high glue breaks down and they start shrinking and they get loose. You can see this one here is actually still loose. There really isn't an easy way to fix these. You can't really take them apart and stand them flat again without destroying the whole leg. So about the only thing you could do to fix this is to try to work some glue down into the cracks to stabilize it and use filler on that to help hide the crack. So that's what I intend to do. Okay, we'll get this chiseled out, try to get it squared away. Looks like it's had it repaired on this at one point. I can see there's some high glue left where it looks like a piece was glued in prior. So we're going to try to get this all down to some clean square wood, and we'll cut a patch to fill into that and get that glued in place. Okay, here's what I've done. I've cut this block and I've cleaned this out to accept the block, and I've cut this to fit down into the void like so, and I will epoxy that in place and then trim the outside after the epoxy is cured. Okay, here are the finished repairs on that bottom shelf. You can see I spliced a piece in there with epoxy and another piece in right here, and I put a little epoxy in a groove here. This new piece, this older repair, looks like it's held on by glue and nails. I just set the nails a little deeper so I can fill over them. It looked like it was holding, and this corner here just needed a little glue and sanding, so move on to the next part. Okay, I got all the boards glued together for the new top. I went ahead and laid the old top on top of it and traced around it to mark where I need to cut off the extra wood. Cut that pretty close there. Okay, I'll go ahead and use my bandsaw to cut off the extra wood. Now I use my portable belt sander to refine the edge. And now I'm going to use my portable belt sander to flatten the top and the bottom. So messy. Wear your dust mask. Okay, now that I got the top and the bottom of the top rough sanded with the belt sander, now I'm going to come through with my router and we're going to do a round over on the top edge and then flip it over. We'll do a bigger round over on the bottom. Okay, the corners of the skirting here have these spline miter joints, and those were all loose, so I got those knocked apart and re-glued. Went ahead and add some extra blocking in here for extra strength. And the top is now sanded and routed, and the skirting is now attached to the top. So next step would be to assemble the legs and get it all put together. The bottom shelf still needs some sanding to do, and you can see I've used some filler on some of the cracks on these legs. I need to sand these legs thoroughly before I assemble it all together. Okay, to catch you all up, I got the legs all sanded, and then I dry fit all the pieces together underneath the tabletop. Got everything measured out, lined up, and then I put a single screw in each board attached to the underside to hold it in place, then drew a square around it. And then I disassembled it, and then I screwed the two boards down with glue, hide glue, and 4 screws. And then I reassembled the piece with screws and hide glue. You can see I had to use a few shims, veneer shims there, for take up some of the play in the joint. So it is officially back together. All right, I have the table all sanded and ready for stain. The stain I'm going to be using is a Victorian brand. The color is Gunstock. Okay, we'll let this dry 24 hours and then I can start applying the finish. I used some 4-0 steel wool on the glass balls to clean all the scum and dirt off of those. And I've carefully masked them off. So now I need to apply some gold paint, just some Rust-Oleum gold here. And I will be antiquing this in the finishing process, antiquing the brass to make it pop a little better. Okay, I just sprayed a couple thin coats of lacquer on this wood to seal down the color. And now that that's dried, I'm going to come back through with the paste wood filler, try to fill some of these open pores up a little bit better, and give it a nice, more uniform finish. The grain filler I'm going to use is made by Mohawk. It is an oil-based product, and this is a medium walnut color. When you apply this, you just use a brush and just, I usually do in circular fashion like this, just kind of work it down into that grain of that wood. Get it all worked in, then we'll come back through and we'll wipe off the excess. This also puts color down in the grain, which will change the look of it, make it more pronounced, more like it did originally. Once we get this on there, it's going to have to sit another 24 hours to dry before I could put more lacquer on top of it. A little bit more here. Now I use rags to wipe off the excess. I usually wipe across the grain instead of with the grain, which helps pack it in even more. And then my final wipes will be with the grain. Clean rag. Get off the rest of the excess here. Gotta make this new wood match the old wood the best you can. And there's always just a little bit of residue on this. So what I usually do to remove that is take a little rag with some naphtha on it right before, after it's dried, get that last bit of residue off of there. And there you go, the grain is filled. All right, I went ahead and put some grain filler on the skirting under the top and as well as on the bottom shelf there, just to make it a little bit more cohesive. The legs, I don't think they need any grain filler. All right, the next step before I start loading lacquer on this table is we're going to come through and glaze these feet, give them more of an antiqued look. I'm using an umber shade of glaze. So we'll apply that all over. It's not too heavy bodied, but it will add a little bit of color. And we'll just take a rag and kind of blot some of it off of there. You don't want it puddling up too bad in places. And we'll give that maybe half an hour to dry. Then it'll be safe to lacquer on top of it. The glaze I use is made by Mohawk, and this is the raw umber color. Let's add some lacquer. Alright, I got 3 coats of lacquer on this now, and I've been sanding in between coats with a 400 grit sandpaper and 4/0 steel wool, and now it is ready for the final coat of lacquer. Here is the lacquer that I used on this table. It's a satin nitrocellulose lacquer. And now we just need to unmask these glass balls. Glass balls. The reveal. And here's the final results. It looks pretty good to me. Got a nice color match on that new wood versus the old. The clone ball feet look a lot better. All the cracks are repaired. I'd say this turned out to be a pretty nice looking table. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it or learned something from it, give us a like or leave us a comment. To see more of these videos coming down in the future, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Give your furniture some love.
For hard to find hardware like these, check us out at AnniesHomeStore.com.